Hey guys, tonight we're drifting back to the banks of the Yamuna River, to a moment when the world's most famous monument to love is finally, quietly, complete. The last stone has been set, the last inlay polished, and the air in Agra is thick with the scent of jasmine, wet earth, and a hint of marble dust. You're here, standing in the soft morning light, watching as the final scaffolding is taken down, and the Taj Mahal stands revealed, gleaming, silent, and almost impossibly perfect. You probably wouldn't survive this era for long unless you have a knack for carrying heavy stones, a fondness for lentil stew, and a deep appreciation for the art of waiting. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're here, let me know in the comments where you re-listening from and what time it is for you. I love seeing sleepy history fans from all over the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're standing at the edge of the gardens, the dew still clinging to the grass. As the first rays of sun catch the white marble and turn it gold, the Taj Mahal is finished. After more than 20 years of labor, thousands of artisans, stonecutters, calligraphers, and laborers have stepped back to admire their work. The air is full of quiet pride and a little disbelief. Some workers linger, running their hands over the cool stone, tracing the delicate inlay of semi-precious stones, lapis, jade, carnelians set into the marble-like stars in a pale sky. The city of Agra is waking up slowly. You hear the distant call of a muezzin, the clatter of a cart, the soft laughter of children chasing each other along the riverbank. The Taj Mahal, for all its grandeur, sits quietly, almost shy, as if it's not quite sure what to do now that it's finished. The great dome rises above the trees, its reflection shimmering in the long pool that leads to the entrance. Birds swoop and circle, their wings catching the light, and for a moment, the world feels perfectly still. One widely accepted fact: the Taj Mahal was built by Emperor Shah Jahan as a mausoleum for his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal, who died in 1631. But here's a lesser-known detail. The completion of the Taj didn't bring a grand celebration. There was no parade, no fireworks, no official decree. The emperor, still mourning, preferred a quiet unveiling. Historians still wonder if the workers felt relief, pride, or simply exhaustion as they packed up their tools and drifted back to their homes. You wander through the gardens, the paths lined with cypress trees, and the air heavy with the scent of roses. Gardeners move quietly, sweeping the walkways and tending to the flower beds. A pair of peacocks strut near the reflecting pool, their feathers catching the sun. You pause to watch as a gardener gently waters a bed of jasmine. His movements slow and careful, as if he's afraid to disturb the peace that has settled over the place. The artisans gather in small groups, some sitting cross-legged on the grass, sharing a simple meal of flatbread and lentils. They talk in low voices, their hands stained with dye and dust. You catch snippets of conversation, stories of long nights spent carving marble, of friendships forged over shared cups of tea, of the aches and blisters that come from years of careful work. There's pride in their voices, but also a sense of uncertainty. What comes next after you've built something that will outlast you? You make your way to the main entrance, where the great gate frames the Taj Mahal like a painting. The calligraphy on the red sandstone glows in the morning light, verses from the Quran welcoming visitors to paradise. A group of calligraphers stands nearby, admiring their handiwork. One of them, an older man with ink-stained fingers, traces the letters with a gentle touch. "It is finished," he says softly, and you can hear both pride and a hint of sadness in his voice. You step inside the mausoleum, the air cool and still. The marble walls are inlaid with delicate patterns, flowers, vines, and geometric shapes that seem to shift and change as the light moves. The cenotaphs of Taj Mahal and Shah Jahan rest at the center, surrounded by a filigree marble screen. You stand in the quiet, listening to the echo of your own footsteps, and feel the weight of centuries pressing in around you. Outside, the city is beginning to buzz with rumors. Some say the emperor will build another Taj, this time in black marble, across the river. Others whisper about the fate of the artisans. Will they be sent to build new palaces, or will they simply fade into the crowds of Agra? Historians still debate these stories, sifting through records and legends, searching for the truth in the spaces between. As the sun climbs higher, the marble shifts from gold to white, glowing softly against the blue sky. The workers begin to drift away, some heading home to their families, others lingering for one last look. The Taj Mahal stands alone, loss, and the quiet persistence of beauty. You find a shady spot beneath a neem tree. And sit, watching as the shadows lengthen across the grass. And the Taj Mahal waits, patient, serene, and ready for whatever comes next. You close your eyes, letting the sounds of the garden lull you into a gentle calm. The last stone has been laid. The work is done, and in the hush that follows, you can almost hear the soft sigh of a city at peace. The days after the Taj Mahal's completion are marked by a gentle hush, as if the city itself is holding its breath. Shah Jahan, the emperor who dreamed this monument into being, finds himself drawn to the gardens again and again. You see him in the early mornings, his silhouette drifting through the mist, a figure both regal and deeply human. He walks slowly, his steps measured, his gaze lingering on the marble dome that now holds the memory of his beloved Mumtaz. The emperor's court is quieter these days. The grand processions, the feasts, the music that once filled the palace halls have faded into softer routines. Shah Jahan prefers the company of the gardens, the gentle splash of fountains, and the rustle of cypress leaves in the breeze. He often comes alone, or with just a handful of trusted attendants, slipping away from the weight of state business to sit in the shade and watch the changing light on the Taj. You follow him one morning, the grass cool beneath your feet, the air heavy with the scent of roses and wet earth. The emperor pauses by the reflecting pool, his image wavering in the water. He stands for a long time, lost in thought, his hands clasped behind his back. Sometimes he brings a book of poetry, reading quietly to himself, the words mingling with the birdsong. Other times he simply sits, eyes closed, listening to the world around him. One widely accepted fact: Shah Jahan spent his later years in mourning, visiting the Taj Mahal as often as he could. But here's a lesser-known detail. He was also a patron of the arts, and even in his grief, he encouraged poets, painters, and musicians to create new works inspired by the monument. Historians still wonder how much of his sorrow was eased by these quiet acts of beauty, and how much was simply carried with him day after day. The court adapts to the emperor's new routines. Ministers meet him in the gardens, their voices low and respectful. Courtiers bring news of distant provinces, But Shah Jahan's attention often drifts back to the marble mausoleum, its dome gleaming in the sun. The palace musicians play softer tunes, their melodies floating through open windows and mingling with the scent of jasmine. The emperor's daughters, especially Jahanara, walk with him in the evenings, their presence a gentle comfort. You notice the subtle changes in the court's rhythm. The grand banquets are fewer, replaced by quiet meals in the garden. The emperor's favorite poets are invited to recite verses beneath the stars, their words echoing softly across the lawns. Sometimes Shah Jahan asks for stories of Mumtaz, her kindness, her laughter, the way she loved the gardens. The court obliges, weaving memories into the night air, each story a thread in the tapestry of remembrance. The Taj Mahal itself becomes a place of pilgrimage, not just for the emperor, but for anyone seeking solace. You see widows leaving garlands at the gate, lovers tracing the calligraphy with their fingers, children chasing butterflies along the paths. The monument, once a private grief, slowly becomes a shared comfort, a symbol of love and loss that belongs to everyone. Historians still debate the stories that swirl around these years. Did Shah Jahan truly plan to build a second Taj in black marble across the river? Was he haunted by dreams of Mumtaz, or did he find peace in the beauty he had created? The records are silent on these questions, but the gardens remember their silence is full of answers. You watch as the emperor lingers by the riverbank, the Yamuna flowing quietly past. He drops a single rose into the water, watching as it drifts away, carried by the current. The sun sets, painting the marble in shades of pink and gold, and Shah Jahan turns to go, his steps slow but steady. As night falls, the gardens empty, the last birds settling into the trees. The Taj Mahal glows softly in the moonlight, its reflection shimmering in the pool. You sit for a while, listening to the distant call of a nightjar, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the quiet heartbeat of a city learning to live with its most beautiful sorrow. You close your eyes, letting the peace of the gardens settle over you. The emperor's visits are quiet now, but the love that built the Taj Mahal lingers in every stone, every shadow, every breath of night air. The days after the Taj Mahal's completion bring a gentle transformation to Agra, the city. Already bustling with traders, artisans, and travelers, now finds itself living in the shadow of something extraordinary. The monument is no longer just a project for the emperor and his quartet, becomes a quiet presence in the daily lives of everyone who calls Agra home. You wake to the sound of distant bells and the soft calls of vendors setting up their stalls. Along the roads that lead to the Taj, the air is cool, tinged with the scent of cardamom and woods. As you wander through the city, you notice how the rhythms of life have shifted. The Taj Mahal draws people from every corner of the empire, pilgrims, poets, merchants, and the simply curious. Some come to pray, some to marvel, and some just to see if the stories are true. The markets near the monument are livelier than ever. You pass a chai seller pouring steaming tea into clay cups, his hands moving with practiced ease. Nearby, a woman arranges garlands of marigolds, their bright orange petals glowing in the morning sun. Children dart between the stalls, their laughter echoing off the marble walls. The Taj Mahal, once a place of mourning, is now woven into the fabric of daily life, a backdrop for stories, celebrations, and the quiet business of living. One widely accepted fact, the Taj Mahal quickly became a site of pilgrimage. drawing visitors from across the Mughal Empire and beyond. But here's a lesser-known detail. The monument also changed the fortunes of Agra's people. New inns and guest houses sprang up to house travelers. Artisans found work crafting souvenir-steeny marble elephants, painted tiles, and delicate inlaid boxes. Historians still wonder how many of these small businesses began with a single visitor pausing to admire the view. You wander through the gardens, where gardeners tend the flower beds with quiet pride. The cypress trees stand tall, their shadows stretching across the grass. A group of women gathers at the well, their bangles jingling as they draw water and share the latest gossip. The Taj Mahal is always there, a silent witness to their laughter and their worries. Along the riverbank, fishermen cast their nets, glancing up now and then at the marble dome reflected in the water. A potter shapes clay on his wheel, his fingers stained with earth, while his children play nearby, building their own tiny palaces in the mud. The monument is part of their world now, as familiar as the rising sun. You pause at a small shrine near the entrance, where pilgrims leave offerings, flowers, coins, a handful of rice. Some whisper prayers for love, others for peace, and a few simply stand in silence, letting the beauty of the place fill their hearts. The Taj Mahal, once a private sorrow, has become a public hope. The city's storytellers find new inspiration in the monument. In the evenings, you gather with neighbors to listen as an old man spins tales of the emperor and his beloved queen, of the artisans who carved the marble, of the river that flows on, carrying secrets and dreams. Children sit wide-eyed, imagining the world inside the white walls, a world of music, poetry, and endless gardens. Historians still debate how much the Taj Mahal changed Agra. Did it bring prosperity, or did it simply shift the city's focus from trade to tourism? Did it unite the people, or did it create new divisions between those who lived in its shadow and those who came from afar? The answers are as complex as the patterns in the marble. But one thing is certain: the monument became a part of everyone's story. As the day fades, the markets quiet, and the last visitors drift away, the city settles into a gentle hush, the Taj Mahal glowing softly in the twilight. You sit by the river, watching the lights of Agra flicker on, one by one. The monument stands serene, its reflection shimmering in the water, a promise that beauty can endure even in the midst of change. You close your eyes, listening to the distant sounds of the city, the call of a night bird, the soft splash of oars, the quiet laughter of friends sharing a meal. Life around the Taj Mahal is ordinary and extraordinary all at once, a tapestry of moments woven together by the silent presence of marble and memory. As the sun rises over Agra, the Taj Mahal glows with a soft, pearly light, and the city's artisans begin another day. For more than 2 decades, these craftsmen, cutters, calligraphers, mosaic artists, and laborers have poured their skill and sweat into the monument. Now, with the last stone set and the final inlay polished, their great work is done. But what happens to the hands that built an empire's dream? You wander through the narrow lanes behind the monument, where the artisans' quarters are tucked away. The air is thick with the scent of wet clay and wood shavings. Some of the craftsmen are already at work on new commissions: a marble fountain for a nobleman's garden, a set of inlaid tiles for a merchant's house, a delicate filigree box for a bride's dowry. The skills honed on the Taj Mahal are in demand, and the city's wealthier residents are eager to bring a touch of imperial beauty into their own homes. One widely accepted fact: the artisans who built the Taj Mahal were among the most skilled in the world, drawn from every corner of the Mughal Empire and beyond. But here's a lesser-known detail. After the monument was finished, many of these craftsmen stayed in Agra, forming new workshops and passing their secrets down to their children. The city became a center for marble work and inlay, its markets filled with tiny echoes of the great mausoleum. You pause to watch a group of young apprentices learning the art of petrodura, the intricate inlay of colored stones into marble. Their teacher, an old man with nimble fingers and a patient smile, guides their hands as they set tiny chips of lapis and jasper into swirling patterns. The work is slow, almost meditative, and the apprentices whisper to each other as they work, dreaming of the day their own creations might be admired by emperors. Stories swirl through the city about the fate of the Taj Mahal's builders. Some say the emperor, fearing that such beauty could never be repeated, ordered the hands of the chief artisans to be cut off. Others claim the workers were sent far away, sworn to secrecy, or given great rewards and land. Historians still debate these tales, searching for truth in the fog of legend. Most agree that while some artisans moved on to new projects in distant cities, many remained in Agra, their lives forever shaped by the monument they helped create. You visit the home of a calligrapher, his walls lined with scrolls and ink pots. He shows you a page of flowing Persian script, the same hand that graces the Taj Mahal's great gate. He speaks of long nights spent under lantern light, tracing verses from the Koran onto marble, his brush steady even as his eyes grew tired. Now he teaches his grandchildren, their small hands clumsy but eager, the art of turning words into beauty. In the evenings, the artisans gather in the tea houses, sharing stories of the years spent on the monument. They talk of friendships forged on the scaffolding, of the challenges of working with stubborn stone, of the pride they felt when the emperor himself praised their work. There is laughter, and sometimes a hint of longing for the camaraderie of the worksite, for the sense of purpose that comes from building something that will outlast them all. Historians still wonder about the lives of these craftsmen. Did they find contentment in their new work, or did they always look back, measuring every new project against the perfection of the Taj Mahal? Did they feel pride or a quiet sadness, knowing that their greatest achievement was behind them? The answers are lost to time but the city remembers their legacy is written in every carved stone, every inlaid petal, every whispered story passed from master to apprentice. You walk through the markets, where the artisan's wares are displayed for all to see. Marble boxes, inlaid tables, delicate screens each piece, a small echo of the monument that changed their lives. Buyers haggle over prices, children run their fingers over the cool stone, and the artisans watch with quiet satisfaction as their work finds new homes. As night falls, you return to the gardens of the Taj Mahal. The monument glows in the moonlight, its beauty undiminished by the passing of time. Somewhere nearby, a group of craftsmen sits beneath a tree, sharing a pot of tea and a quiet moment of pride. Their work is done, but their story continues, woven into the very fabric of Agra. You close your eyes, listening to the soft murmur of voices, the distant call of a night bird, and the gentle rustle of leaves. The fate of the artisans is not a single story, but 1,000 small ones, each as intricate and enduring as the patterns in the marble. As the days and seasons pass, the Taj Mahal settles into its place on the banks of the Yamuna, watched over by the slow, patient river. The Yamuna has always been the silent witness to Agra's history, its floods and droughts, its festivals and funerals, its quiet dawns and noisy markets. Now, the river has a new companion, a monument of marble and memory, reflected in its waters from sunrise to moonrise. You find yourself drawn to the riverbank, where the world feels softer and time seems to slow. The air is cool and damp, carrying the scent of water lilies and silt. Fishermen cast their nets in the early morning mist, their boats gliding silently past the Taj's reflection. Children skip stones from the shore, their laughter mingling with the calls of herons and kingfishers. The monument's image shimmers on the water, sometimes clear, sometimes blurred by ripples or the drifting petals of fallen flowers. One widely accepted fact: the Yamuna was an essential part of the Taj Mahal's design, its waters intended to mirror the monument and create a sense of endless beauty. But here's a lesser-known detail. The river itself became part of local legend. People began to say that the Taj Mahal was not just a tomb, and where the river carried their prayers downstream, out into the wide world. You walk along the embankment, passing women washing clothes at the water's edge, their saris bright against the pale sand. They sing as they work, old songs about love and longing, their voices rising and falling with the rhythm of the river. A group of boys wades in the shallows, searching for smooth stones and lost coins, their shouts echoing across the water. The Taj Mahal stands in the background, serene and unchanging, its reflection a constant companion to the ever-moving river. The riverbank becomes a gathering place for the city. Vendors set up stalls, selling sweet jalebis and spiced tea, their fires sending up fragrant smoke. Pilgrims pause to bathe in the Yamuna before visiting the monument, believing the water to be blessed by its proximity to such beauty. Lovers stroll hand in hand, pausing to watch the sunset paint the marble in shades of pink and gold. Artists set up their easels, trying to capture the way the light dances on the water, the way the monument seems to float between earth and sky. You sit beneath a tamarind tree, watching as the day unfolds. The river is never still, sometimes swift, sometimes sluggish, always carrying stories. You see a wedding procession cross a narrow bridge, the bride's red veil trailing behind her like a ribbon of hope. You see an old man sitting quietly, his eyes fixed on the Taj Mahal, his thoughts lost in memories. The river listens to them all, its surface rippling with secrets. Historians still debate how much the Yamuna shaped the life of Agra after the Taj Mahal was built. Did the river bring prosperity, or did its floods sometimes threaten the monument's foundations? Did it unite the city, or did it mark a boundary between old neighborhoods and new? The answers are as shifting as the river itself. But one thing is certain: the Yamuna became part of the Taj Mahal's story, its gentle watch, a reminder that beauty and change are always intertwined. As evening falls, the river glows with the last light of the sun. The Taj Mahal's reflection stretches across the water, long and luminous. You watch as a small boat drifts past, its lantern casting a golden path on the water. The boatman pauses to look back at the monument, his face thoughtful in the fading light. You close your eyes, listening to the river's song, the splash of oars, the distant call of a night bird, the soft murmur of water against stone. The Yamuna keeps its gentle watch, carrying the city's dreams and sorrows, its hopes and memories, past the marble walls and out into the world beyond. The Taj Mahal stands serene, its beauty undimmed by the passing of days. The river flows on, patient and eternal, a silent witness to love, loss, and the quiet persistence of life. As the years slip by, the Taj Mahal stands quietly on the banks of the Yamuna, its marble glowing in the sun and shimmering in the moonlight. But beyond its peaceful gardens, the Mughal Empire is changing. The world that built the Taj is shifting, sometimes gently, sometimes with the slow, grinding force of history. You can feel it in the era sense of waiting, of things about to turn. Shah Jahan, once the mighty emperor, grows older. His hair turns silver, his steps slow, and his visits to the Taj Mahal become less frequent. The court, once filled with music and poetry, is now a place of whispers and careful glances. The emperor's sons, each ambitious in his own way, circle the throne like hawks. The city of Agra, too, feels the tension. Merchants talk in low voices, soldiers drill in the courtyards, and the people watch the palace for signs of change. One widely accepted fact: after the Taj Mahal was finished, the Mughal Empire entered a period of uncertainty. Shah Jahan's health declined, and his sons began to vie for power. But here's a lesser-known detail. Even as the empire's politics grew more dangerous, the Taj Mahal remained a place of peace. Historians still wonder how many secret meetings, quiet reconciliations, and whispered promises took place in its gardens beneath the shade of cypress trees. You walk through the city, noticing the subtle changes. The markets are still busy, but there's a new edge to the conversations. News from distant provinces arrives with every caravan. Stories of drought, rebellion, and shifting alliances. The emperor's eldest son, Darashiko, is beloved by many for his gentle ways and love of learning. But his brother Aurangzeb is a different sort of Prince Sharp, ambitious and determined to rule. The court is full of rumors. Some say Shah Jahan will name Dara his heir. Others whisper that Aurangzeb is gathering support among the army. Ministers and nobles choose their words carefully, never sure who will be in power tomorrow. The emperor, for his part, spends more time in the gardens, surrounded by his daughters and a few loyal friends. He gazes at the Taj Mahal, his greatest creation, and perhaps wonders what will become of Itant, of his family, when he is gone. You find yourself in the palace gardens one evening, the air heavy with the scent of night-blooming jasmine. Shah Jahan sits beneath a pavilion, his eyes fixed on the distant dome of the Taj. His daughter Jahanara reads poetry aloud, her voice soft and steady. The emperor listens, his face calm, but his thoughts far away. You sense the weight of memory in the air, the love that built the monument, the grief that lingers in its shadow, and the uncertainty of what comes next. Historians still debate the details of what followed. When Shah Jahan fell ill, Aurangzeb moved quickly, imprisoning his father in the Red Fort and claiming the throne for himself. Darashiko was defeated, and the empire's gentle dreamers were replaced by stricter, sterner rulers. Yet through it all, the Taj Mahal remained untouched, a silent witness to the rise and fall of power, its beauty undiminished by the storms of history. You walk the paths of the gardens, noticing how life goes on. The gardeners still tend the flowers, the river still flows, and the people of Agra still pause to admire the monument. The city adapts, as cities always do. New rulers bring new rules, but the Taj Mahal endures, its marble walls holding the memory of a different time. One evening, you see Aurangzeb himself visit the monument. He stands for a long time, silent and alone, his face unreadable. Some say he was moved by its beauty, others that he saw it only as a symbol of his father's excess. Historians still wonder what he thought as he gazed at the tomb of his mother, the woman for whom the world's most beautiful building was made. You think of the people you saw today, the baker, the tailor, the children playing in the street. You remember the way the baker's hands moved, dusted with flour, shaping dough in the early morning light, the warmth of the oven spilling out into the cool dawn. You recall the tailor bent over his work, humming softly as he stitched a patch onto a well-worn coat, his needle glinting in the sun, the gentle rhythm of his craft as steady as the city itself. You see the children, their faces bright with laughter, skipping over puddles and chasing each other through the alleys, their shouts echoing off the stone walls, their games weaving through the city like a thread of joy. You remember the king's promises, spoken with a voice both weary and determined, as he stood among the people and vowed that London would rise again. You remember the laughter around the fire, the way neighbors shared stories and bread, the warmth of community in the face of hardship. You remember the hopeful plans for tomorrow talk of new houses, new gardens, new beginnings. Even in the shadow of loss, there was a spark of something bright, a sense that the city's heart was still beating strong. You realize that for all its scars, the city is alive with possibility. The streets may be marked by soot and ash, but they are also lined with new footprints, new dreams. Each day brings new challenges, walls to rebuild, wounds to heal, memories to carry, but also new joys. The taste of fresh bread, the sound of a friend's voice, the sight of a flower blooming in a window box. Each night brings rest and the promise of another dawn, another chance to begin again. You let your thoughts drift, carried by the gentle rhythm of your breath. The city outside is quiet, but you know that beneath the surface, life is stirring. In the gardens, seeds are sprouting, pushing through the dark earth toward the light. In the kitchens, bread is rising, filling the air with the promise of morning. In the hearts of those who call London home, dreams are taking shape, dreams of safety, of laughter, of a city made whole again. You imagine the city a year from now, 2 years, 10. You see the streets busier, filled with the clatter of carts and the chatter of neighbors. You see houses brighter, their windows glowing with candlelight, their walls painted in cheerful colors. You see the scars of the fire softened by time and memory, covered by ivy and wildflowers, remembered only in stories told to curious children. You see those children growing up, hearing tales of the great fire, but for them it is just that, a story, a lesson, a reminder of how strong their city can be, how hope can grow from ashes. You feel yourself growing drowsy, your body sinking deeper into the mattress. The sounds of the city fade, replaced by the soft hum of your own heartbeat. You are safe, you are warm, and you are part of something bigger, a city that endures, a story that never truly ends. You are held by the gentle weight of history, by the comfort of knowing that you belong to a place that has weathered storms and still found the strength to dream. As you drift toward sleep, you hold on to the gentle certainty that tomorrow will come, and with it, new hope, new laughter, and new dreams. You picture the lamps being lit, one by one, casting golden pools of light on the cobblestones. You imagine the city waking, stretching, and beginning again quietly, steadily, beautifully, just as it always has. You dream of walking those streets again, the city alive with the gentle bustle of morning. You see the bakers opening their shops, the market stalls filling with fresh fruit and flowers, the children running to school, their laughter echoing down the lanes. You see the river sparkling in the sunlight, boats gliding past, their sails full and bright. You see neighbors greeting each other, sharing news and smiles, their voices weaving together in a tapestry of sound. The city is alive, and you are part of it, woven into its story like a single thread in a vast, colorful tapestry. You dream of the city's future, of new buildings rising where old ones once stood, of gardens blooming in every square, of music drifting from open windows on warm summer nights. You dream of peace, of safety, of a city that has learned from its past and looks to the future with hope. You see children playing in the parks, lovers strolling by the river, friends gathering in the glow of lanterns. You see a city that remembers, but also forgives, that carries its scars with pride and its dreams with tenderness. And as you sleep, the city sleeps with you. The lamps burn low, the river flows on, and the stars wheel overhead. The world is quiet, and you are at rest, wrapped in the gentle embrace of a city that endures. You let your thoughts drift, carried by the gentle rhythm of your breath, as the city outside your window settles into its own slow, peaceful slumber. The world is quiet, but you know that beneath the surface, life is always stirring. In the gardens, seeds are sprouting, pushing through the dark earth toward the promise of sunlight. In the kitchens, bread is rising, filling the air with the soft, yeasty scent of tomorrow's breakfast. In the hearts of those who call London home, dreams are taking shape, dreams of safety, of laughter, of a city made whole again. You imagine the city a year from now, 2 years, 10, you see the streets busier, filled with the clatter of carts and the chatter of neighbors. You see houses brighter, their windows glowing with candlelight, their walls painted in cheerful colors. You see the scars of the fire softened by time and memory, covered by ivy and wildflowers, remembered only in stories told to curious children. You see those children growing up, hearing tales of the great fire, but for them it is just that, a story, a lesson, a reminder of how strong their city can be, how hope can grow from ashes. You picture the city's mornings, the gentle bustle as shopkeepers sweep their thresholds and open their doors to the first customers of the day. You see the market stalls filling with fresh fruit and flowers, the air alive with the calls of vendors and the laughter of children. You imagine the river sparkling in the sunlight, boats gliding past, their sails full and bright, carrying goods and stories from one end of the city to the other. You think of the city's evenings, the golden light slanting through windows, the smell of supper drifting from open doorways, the sound of music and conversation rising from taverns and homes. You see neighbors gathering in quiet squares, sharing news and smiles, their voices weaving together in a tapestry of sound. You imagine the city's parks and gardens, blooming with roses and lavender, the grass cool beneath your feet as you wander through the gentle hush of dusk. You feel yourself growing drowsy, your body sinking deeper into the mattress. The sounds of the city fade, replaced by the soft hum of your own heartbeat. You are safe, you are warm, and you are part of something bigger, a city that endures, a story that never truly ends. You are held by the gentle weight of history, by the comfort of knowing that you belong to a place that has weathered storms and still found the strength to dream. As you drift toward sleep, you hold on to the gentle certainty that tomorrow will come, and with it, new hope, new laughter, and new dreams. You picture the lamps being lit, one by one, casting golden pools of light on the cobblestones. You imagine the city waking, stretching, and beginning again quietly, steadily, beautifully, just as it always has. You dream of walking those streets again, the city alive with the gentle bustle of morning. You see the bakers opening their shops, the market stalls filling with fresh fruit and flowers, the children running to school, their laughter echoing down the lanes. You see the river sparkling in the sunlight, boats gliding past, their sails full and bright. You see neighbors greeting each other, sharing news and smiles, their voices weaving together in a tapestry of sound. The city is alive, and you are part of it, woven into its story like a single thread in a vast, colorful tapestry. You dream of the city's future, of new buildings rising where old ones once stood, of gardens blooming in every square, of music drifting from open windows on warm summer nights. You dream of peace, of safety, of a city that has learned from its past and looks to the future with hope. You see children playing in the parks, lovers strolling by the river, friends gathering in the glow of lanterns. You see a city that remembers, but also forgives, that carries its scars with pride and its dreams with tenderness. And as you sleep, the city sleeps with you. The lamps burn low, the river flows on, and the stars wheel overhead. The world is quiet, and you are at rest, wrapped in the gentle embrace of a city that endures. You drift deeper, your breath slowing, your body relaxing into the softness of your bed. The city outside your window is peaceful, the night air cool and still. You imagine the gentle sway of trees in the breeze, the distant sound of a nightingale, the soft rustle of leaves along the riverbank. You picture the moonlight glinting on the rooftops, the quiet glow of lanterns in the windows, the comforting hush that settles over the city as it sleeps. In your dreams, you walk through London's streets, each step lighter than the last. You pass by old friends and new faces, each one offering a smile, a wave, a word of kindness. You wander through markets filled with the scent of spices and fresh bread, through gardens blooming with roses and lavender, through quiet squares where fountains murmur and pigeons coo. The city is yours, and you are part of its gentle, endless story. You dream of the city's resilience, its ability to heal and grow, to turn sorrow into strength and loss into hope. You see the marks of the past scars on the walls, memories in the stones, but you also see the beauty that has grown from them. You see laughter, music, and light, the simple joys that make each day worth living. As the night deepens, you feel yourself floating, weightless and calm. The world narrows to the soft rhythm of your breath, the gentle beat of your heart, the warmth of your blanket. You are safe, you are loved, and you are home. The city sleeps, and so do you. The lamps burn low, the river flows on, and the stars wheel overhead. The world is quiet, and you are at rest, wrapped in the gentle embrace of a city that endures. And as you drift, you sense the city's dreams mingling with your own. You dream of laughter echoing through the alleys, of the gentle clatter of horse hooves on cobblestones, of the distant tolling of church bells marking the hours. You dream of the baker rising before dawn, kneading dough by candlelight, of the tailor humming a lullaby as he sews, of the children's games weaving through the city like a song. You dream of the river, its surface silvered by moonlight, carrying boats and stories and wishes out to sea. You dream of the gardens, dew sparkling on the grass, roses opening to the sun, bees humming in the lavender. You dream of the city's rooftops, each one a small island of warmth and memory, each one holding a story of its own. You dream of the city's future, of new generations growing up strong and kind, of old wounds healing, of new friendships blossoming. You dream of peace, of gentle mornings and golden afternoons, of quiet evenings spent in the company of those you love. And as you sleep, the city sleeps with you. The lamps burn low, the river flows on, and the stars wheel overhead. The world is quiet, and you are at rest, wrapped in the gentle embrace of a city that endures. Good night and sweet dreams.